You're live.
We are streaming live on YouTube. We are also recording, and so we'll be able to take that recording and drop it on other social media platforms. But you are live on YouTube. Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening and welcome to our Monday.
Mic check, please.
I don't think it's on. There we go. Good evening and thank you. Welcome to our Monday, June the 7th Parks Board meeting. Do I have approval of claims and the minutes from the April 27th and May 3rd meeting?
Have a motion to approve as presented.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Do we have any
No.
any questions, any changes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Brent Sprout.
We're going to switch that around and have the mayor go first, and then I'm going to give Brent's presentation.
Okay.
Thank you, Board. I thought I'd give you an update on the Sunrise Golf Course operating results through May 2021. If you recall, in 2020, we ended the year with approximately $370,000 deficit. We embarked on putting the golf course on an operating budget, which had not been done, I don't think, before. We were able to trim out some of the overhead associated with that. All of that was part of the plan. So I'm going to give you some quick highlights. This is for the first 5 months. I will note that on the revenue side, just keep in mind that some of the revenue is front loaded because of selling season passes. So the important thing as we go through the balance of the year is continue to manage our overhead, but also bring in additional revenue through the other things, concessions, alcohol sales, events, and then also increasing the paid rounds. That's a goal of ours. But a quick overview here is that what I boxed here, you'll see total revenue for the first 5 months is $254,041. That's versus an annualized budget of $245,538. So we are up 3.5% on revenue for the first 5 months. The actual rounds played was almost 5,000 rounds, and we're tracking very closely to 2020 at 75-25. So 75% coming from season pass holders, 25% coming from paid rounds. As our new golf professional, Roger Gallatin Jr., when he gets here, his start date is June the 20th. One of the things that we're going to focus on immediately is improving our reach outside of the Madison area, and ideally that ratio would be 60-40 versus 75-25. When we do that, that's going to have a fantastic value proposition for the course. The big thing last year was overhead, and you'll see here that for the first 5 months we're tracking at 48% of revenue. In 2020, salaries and benefits were 125% of revenue, so there was absolutely no way we were going to earn any level of profit in 2020 with that ratio. So the goal for 2021 is to be at no greater than 55% of salary and benefits to total revenue, and right now we're tracking very well at 48%. So keeping an eye on our labor structure has been really helpful, and I'd like to give Brandon and his team a lot of compliment because we're getting feedback that the course has probably never looked better, and we're doing it in a way that is consistent with our operating budget that has significant savings relative to 2020. So Brandon and Chris and Brent and Marvin, all those guys are doing a fantastic job up there. Toggling on down to total operating expenses, we are tracking at $44,479 a month. And again, this compares really favorably to 2020, where our average monthly operating expense was $82,271 a month. So we've reduced that by 46% year over year. This is what's going to restore, or I should say create, because I'm not sure the golf course has ever been profitable, but it will create fiscal independence for the golf course by managing the overhead, managing the operating expenses more closely, and generating new sources of revenue. We don't really expect these year-to-date profit numbers to hold, but right now we're projecting an annualized revenue for the season at $76,000, and that compares very favorably to a $370,000 deficit last year. Our goal for 2021 is basically break even, but now that we have full control over the course, and with the new pro coming online, where we will again expand our online presence, we will create concession revenue, event and alcohol sales, we should be in good position to perform really well this year. There's one other statistic I want to show you with regards to the operating results, and then I'll pause for questions, and that is the season member pass structure. Right now we're standing at 192 season passes. Bulk of that, 159 are adults and spouses. But the interesting thing here that we also want to track is about the value that we're providing to the season pass holder, even with the increased rates as we headed into 2021. Right now, just through the first 5 months of the year, the average rounds played by a season pass holder is 19. And the number of rounds that a season pass holder has to play to break even is 21. So by now, within this June 7th where we stand today, my guess is the season pass holders have already broken even with the cost of their pass structure and will be playing essentially free for the rest of the year. I think that is good news for the season pass holder, because even though we increased rates modestly, they're still getting a good value and will be playing a lot of golf throughout the course of 2021 without incurring additional costs, because they did invest in that season pass structure. When our new golf pro gets here, we will be marketing the course and continuing to try to attract at least another 35 or 40 season pass holders. Our goal for 2021 was to be at 235 season pass holders, which was the exact same number we had in 2020. And as you can see here, we're standing at 192. So another 42 season pass holders, and we'll be right on our revenue target and season member target for 2021. Optimistic we'll either get there, or the additional revenue we're creating will offset it, and we should be in really, really good position. I'll pause there and answer any questions, but we'll continue to give this report each month, and I'm very optimistic about where we're heading.
Are there concession numbers on here?
No,
Okay.
no, we did not take over
I
concessions.
guess we haven't, okay, we're not, okay. Will that come in the future as we?
It will
Once we
come.
get,
Yes.
okay, that's what I was just curious about.
There might be a modest amount of concessions in here. We did take over the clubhouse after Memorial Day weekend, so it would have been.
Well, and
Yeah,
This is our first week.
the alcohol.
This is our first week,
Yeah,
basically.
The alcohol's the interest, just
Yeah.
where, how much that is added, and it's gonna take a while.
We have a really modest budget for alcohol sales compared to what a typical golf course would have. And again, Roger has experience not only managing a golf course, but managing the food and beverage aspect of the golf course. So what he will bring to the table is a really comprehensive management of the course, as well as how to market the course beyond our borders, and bring in more pay rounds.
Have you received much feedback on the refreshment cart?
A little bit.
Positive, I hope.
50-50.
We only had it out one day, I
Right.
think, didn't we, on the
We
scramble?
We had it
one
one
day.
day. We tried another weekend where we brought it out. It's going to be a transition,
Yeah.
going from.
It's a new feature, yeah.
It's a new thing with, and especially enforcing with the alcohol. That's something just this course has never really dealt with. So these are going to be some speed bumps, but I think overall it's going to be beneficial. I mean, having someone come up, drive you right to where you're at, and bring you a beer, you can't beat that.
No.
So
I also noticed the GPS today at our tournament, those are really nice. A lot of people, spectators that were watching, gave them an opportunity to see how far their kids were shooting
Oh,
from.
that's great, yeah,
So I had a couple positive feedback on that.
Good, I'm glad to hear.
Board, any questions on operating results through May? We'll continue to track this and report it to you. Next up, if we could skip to item number 6, but that way we don't have to change our computers back. But item number 6 on the agenda is a resolution for management of Sunrise Golf Course, and I'll give you a preview on this. As you know, over the course of the past year, what we've been trying to do is get 2 things accomplished. One is understand the financial issues that were present at the golf course and put a plan in place to reverse those negative trends. And then out of that, we were trying to figure out what is the best way to manage the golf course in the future. Some communities, I should say many municipalities like the city of Madison, are doing the same thing that we've done, although I think we're probably a little ahead of the curve, frankly. Many municipal courses struggle from a financial perspective of their public golf courses, where the operations of the public golf course have really diluted the entire park system, like what we were incurring. So what we want to propose here is a new way to manage the course and bring it closer to the golf community with the creation of a golf board, as well as respect the time and energy that the park board is facing in 2021 and beyond with the development of a new master plan and the management of the other part of our park system, which is extremely comprehensive. And not only the master park plan, but putting together a capital improvement plan so that we can, correct the deferred maintenance at each of our parks. So what I'd like to do now is read this resolution for your all's consideration. And like I said, this is done in some format or another in several other communities across the state. I would say that what we're proposing here is maybe one of the more unique structures because it keeps the golf course inside the parks system. However, it delegates the authority of supervising this one asset, as you know, which is a bit of it is a business in itself, and it's the most expensive part of the park system to operate. But I will ask, have we had any other resolutions this year? We need a resolution number for this one. Okay. Okay, well, let's number this resolution number 1-2021. This is a resolution of the Parks and Recreation Board of the City of Madison, Indiana regarding Sunrise Golf Course and establishing a golf board. Whereas the Parks and Recreation Board of the City of Madison has historically regulated all aspects related to the Sunrise Golf Course and the operations thereof. And whereas the Parks and Recreation Board of the City of Madison believes that the day-to-day operations of Sunrise Golf Course requires the oversight and direct supervision of the mayor and his delegated department heads. And whereas the Parks and Recreation Board of the City of Madison, which has historically contracted with and employed a golf professional, hereby delegates this responsibility and supervision to the City of Madison. And whereas the Parks and Recreation Board desires to establish an up to 4-person golf board that will establish policies and directives for the day-to-day operations of Sunrise Golf Course. Whereas the established golf board will make reports to the Parks and Recreation Board regarding any policies, directives, rates, fees, and all other golf-related matters that require action by the Parks and Recreation Board pursuant to statute. Whereas the established golf board will serve as a link between the Parks and Recreation Board of the City of Madison and the citizens of Madison. And whereas the established golf board will be appointed by the mayor of the City of Madison and at all times have at least one member of the Parks and Recreation Board of the City of Madison. And whereas pursuant to Indiana Code 36-10-3-11, paragraphs A9, Parks and Recreation Board of the City of Madison has the authority to delegate the above outlined duties and further believes that it is in the best interest of the City of Madison that the above changes are necessary to operate Sunrise Golf Course more efficiently and effectively. Now therefore be it resolved that the Parks and Recreation Board of the City of Madison hereby creates such golf board and hereby delegates the authority to manage the day-to-day operations of Sunrise Golf Course to the City of Madison, duly adopted by the Parks and Recreation Board of the City of Madison. Today, Board, what I'd like to do is have a motion and a second to approve the resolution, and then we can open up for discussion. Motion and a second, and we'll have a discussion and then take a vote on the approval.
Do I have a motion for the resolution as presented?
I'll motion.
A second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Any questions, any discussion?
Couple questions. It says up to 4. So do we have a number? And then what is the makeup of that number? I understand one will always be a park board member. So I'm curious why it says up to 4, not a number. And then what are the additional, who are we looking at as additional members? Or what is your idea of who you would like to select as?
It would be, that's a good question. Thank you for asking that. It will be not less than 3 members. We added the opportunity for 4 because we want it to be as a diversified board with males and females on the board, and those who are actively engaged in golf at Sunrise Golf Course or bring something to the game of golf and the management of the golf course. So there are quite a few people that we'll talk to determine their interest, but it will really be a pretty direct recruiting effort to make sure we get the right people on that board. And what I really like about this structure is our new golf professional will still report to our parks director, Matt. So that's number 1. However, he needs someone to bounce ideas off of, and he's going to come with certain skill set and experience that he'll probably want to make recommendations on how to implement or whether to implement at Sunrise Golf Course. And we think that it's the timing of those conversations, a lot of that's going to happen in real time, that this golf board would be instrumental in establishing really policy at the golf course that frankly I would venture hasn't even been presented to this park board. I mean, the park board in the past, would adopt a fee schedule, a rate schedule, for example, but as you know, as we went through that rate discussion, beginning last fall and culminating in January, we still found out that there was a lot of things that were kind of happening at the course that really needed to be part of that fee structure. But there's also just regular, how should we manage the course? And this is a unique opportunity that we've never had, honestly, in probably at least a quarter century, maybe even a half a century, because Roger will be only the 3rd golf professional at Sunrise. But we think that golf board would create an opportunity for him to get really quick feedback on how to properly manage the golf course. Things that would still come to the park board would certainly be anything that involved the rate structure. So that's established by you guys. That's another thing that is statutory. But really what you're doing here is delegating to me to appoint this golf board so that we can really be nimble and make sure that we're making the day-to-day decisions at that golf course that will maximize its revenue potential and create the best golf experience for people who live here and visit here.
Does this take any authority away from the board that we currently have to give it to someone else that we currently have now? Statutory authority. I mean, that is like, so we're not giving up any authority. So everything we now approve, we will continue to approve.
You'll continue to approve that.
Okay. Who is going to, are we in charge of getting the park board member on this? Do we choose it?
Well, since I make all 4 of the park board appointments, I would make all 3 to 4 of these appointments too, but one of which would be a park board member, and I'd be happy to consult with any of you guys on who that should be. Yeah.
So the reports would come, like fees and all that, it would kind of come from the park board, so hopefully you will not have to spend as much time on this stuff. That committee or that board would kind of do it, bring it to you, then we get those. This is our suggestion from all those involved in the golf course for our rate structure for this, for that, and then we ultimately.
You will have the ultimate say on what those fees are. And just like we did this year, you have a public hearing on that, so the community could provide input before you make any decisions. Here's the track we're on, and this is what we said we would do. We are on a track to where there is absolute zero dependency on any monies coming from the parks appropriation from their tax levy to support the golf course. And we put a lot of time and effort to get here, but that is the ultimate goal. And we still have to work through that. There are still some hurdles we got to jump across. But think of it this way, which is the plan that we have is to put $370,000 back into the park budget that had been going out to fund deficits for Sunrise Golf Course. And what can you do with that money? And we know that you have a capital improvement plan. We're going to have to borrow money in order to make several millions of dollars of investment in our parks. And that money that you get from your appropriation is going to be important for maintaining what we have and paying debt service on any new monies that we get that's from a park bond. We've not issued a park bond in this community in probably 30 years. And it's long overdue because it's been 30 years since we've adequately maintained our parks the way they should be. So this plan is going to work, and we're already on track. But with this golf board and the day-to-day management from the mayor's office, we can be just super focused with our PGA professional in making it happen and keep you informed along the way, but also not take anything from the park board with regards to actually adopting rates, which is the number one thing you've been doing at the golf course.
With these, the positions, are we gonna do it similar to the park board, that where they will kind of rotate through?
So we're keeping this pretty flexible. We already have some other boards at the city level that are perpetual. So they serve at the pleasure of the appointing authority, and they can come on and off where someone might want to step down, or we might want to replace somebody. So there's not a term here.
Okay.
It's not
So
like a park board member.
A new
Yeah.
mayor comes in, he can create a whole new board if he chooses.
Well, he can't. Well, he could because of his appointments. He
That's
can't.
what I'm saying.
He won't be able to eliminate the golf board
Correct.
without the
Without
park
the- right.
board rescinding it.
Right. But he can, just like any political position.
Yes.
He can create, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that.
And that's fair because
Yeah,
they're
that's-
all looking for their team.
Yep, I understand that,
because of
and
all the
that's-
people that participate in, making the city run on a day-to-day basis
Yes,
through the
and
boards
that's-
and committees.
That is fair. Okay. I'm done.
Thanks, Tim.
No
Any
problem.
questions? All right, all in favor of the resolution as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Board.
Okay.
What's your goal for having that up and,
By June 20th when Roger gets here.
okay.
I will pass the HDMI cable over to Matthew. And hope he has as good as luck as I did.
Can't promise that.
So we're on 5 now. Are we doing
We're
five?
gonna switch back to number 2.
We're going to do
I'm gonna
that.
give Brent's fries demonstration here.
Okay.
So this is something that he's spoke to the mayor and I about, and with all of this, it's kind of a perfect time for the rebranding. And I'll pull up something else. This is just kind of a brief thing with it. With everything that's going on, when someone from out of town, we pride ourselves in the city of Madison on our tourism. And we want to try to encourage that and encourage our daily rates and daily play, and try to balance out that season member versus our daily plays, since it was at 3/4 last year, in favor of memberships. we need to create a bigger online presence, and that really goes with our marketing and our advertising. So what Brent and Phil Manning have worked on is creating drone footage that's going to show you the entire layout of the course, creating a website design, getting control of the domain name centered around Sunrise Golf Course, to where when you search Sunrise, it's going to have that actual link with all the information attached to it. If you search Sunrise right now, you're going to get a couple of different hits, but it's going to be Golf Advisor showing you just this much information about the course, maybe one other review site. These only have about 2 to 3 different things, but it gives you no information, no pictures, no rates, no anything else. To be able to find all of that, that's all on the city's website, or RecDesk, which if you just search Sunrise, that's not going to take you directly there. You have to do a little more digging. So this is just trying to boost our online presence. And this is something he's going to come in to give a demonstration of, is when we had the Chamber of Commerce Scramble a couple of weeks ago, he had his drone out there, and he did a complete flybys of the entire course. And it's had that downloaded to his computer, and it can show you anything you want to see with that, with the entire layout. And then it's very interactive as well. If you were to go in there and look, oh, number 14 is a tricky hole, let me see what it has. And you're able to fly around with that yourself and see it all. So this is just kind of a breakdown of the 2 different pieces of work with this, what they discussed. Brent with his drone, doing the 18-hole video flyover. It's a high-definition mapping to assist with the new layout. And then a bunch of different content photos, especially things when we have a full course like we did at the Scramble there. And then the other part with the rebranding is new logo design for the golf course, showing the course layout with the whole graphics, new scorecards, menu and logo design for the concession portion that we are looking to rebrand as Sunrise Cafe, and then staff business cards. And so again, this all just kind of goes in with the with this kind of digital enhancement. And then with Phil, he said this includes a landing page and domain within 30 days to start establishing a way to easier navigate the course. From there, it's going to be a link with RecDesk, and as the content is created, we'll continue to add from there. But this is just kind of a brief synopsis of what that is, and then kind of take a look at something that they put together. And I'm sorry, this is a little expanded here, but just to kind of give you an idea of something that they threw together. Very nice, clean, simple, but looks good. And then, like I said, it would be the physical footage that we've got with the drones. That would be all the actual photos and the video to go along with that. And then they broke it down just a little bit further of what this investment would look like. And I'll send you guys this PDF so that you can take a look. And to just kind of break it down, this would be an 8 to 10 week project or so if we looked to go forward with this. But it's going to be all about the website design layout. Again, just what it's really trying to do is increase our daily play. Really try to hit on the tourism and everybody that we get in on the weekends. Like I said, we'll get him in here to be able to show you all that drone footage that he has. It's phenomenal. Especially we had a rainbow that was going over, he captured perfectly. But do you guys have any questions so far on this? And this is nothing that we're going to vote on today or anything. It's just kind of putting it on your radar of something that they're working on that I'd like to take a look at in the future. All good there?
Also going to see a movie.
Next time.
Want to talk about, should we do the meeting dates next? Or do you want to go on down to the director's report?
I'll be there.
I'll say the date changes till the last, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and do the director's report, please.
All right, board. Good evening. What we've got going on, so with our leagues, looking at youth first, all our baseball, softball teams are up and practicing. We're not going to start games here for just a couple of weeks. But we do have about 150 children signed up, playing over at Rucker. Going to be using up basically all of our fields, and hopefully this year we'll be able to utilize Kiwanis a little bit too, since that was something that we didn't get to use last year. And kind of skipping along with this too, with what's going on at Rucker, I just want to say Mike Cosby's doing a very, very good job. If you get a chance to go over there and see what they've done with Field 1, with re-edging everything there, fixing around home plate, widening the base pass, it's looking really, really good. He's doing an excellent job with that. But this is all going to get going here very, very quickly, and it's going to lead us right into, we've got football coming up right after that, looking at bringing tackle backs, which we did not have last year due to COVID, but doing tackle and flag football, and that's going to lead us right into volleyball season as we get going to indoor stuff. But that all is looking to be running very smoothly. For our adult stuff, what we've got going on, John Paul Park, our men's league, begins this week. They're going to have their first game this Wednesday. They've got 7 teams that are participating in that. They typically run that about 8 to 10 weeks. Women's softball is still open. We host that at Kiwanis Park. You can sign up as a team or you can do it individually. That's something new for us. With RecDesk, we now have that ability that if somebody doesn't have a designated team, they are able to sign up as a free agent, and then we can assign them to a team. And that should just be another way to get more people involved with that. And our last adult sport thing that we have coming up is about men's basketball summer league. This was something that was typically done in the fall and spring, and we've kind of transitioned to more of a winter and summer. We believe in the summer we can get a little bit more competition, especially with kids coming home from college in the surrounding areas, and I think we can get a little bit more teams that we've had in the past. But that's something that we're looking to have about 10 teams, hopefully, for this summer run.
Do you have people already signed up for that?
For the basketball, we only have 1 team signed up so far for the basketball. And for the women's softball, we only have about 2 different participants signed up. For our city campground, did just under $6,600 during May. Doug is doing a fantastic job of really bringing a lot of energy, being very personable with all our residents down there. It's doing just really, really good work. It's in great shape. He's keeping on top of the mowing, the weed eating. We've got him in a golf cart down there now, so it's a little bit easier for him to get around, especially on full weekends. Throughout May, especially our Memorial Day weekend, we were completely booked, and he took that, like a champion. He is really excelling in that role so far, so we're very happy to have him on board. So far, we've had 295 different stays this month at the campground, and that's only going to continue to progress as we kind of get going with the summer. And our big one, Sunrise Golf Course, update on where we're at for our numbers. The mayor went over it, but just going to kind of hit it too for you. Adults were at 148, youth we have 27, spouse 11, college 6, cart stickers 106, which by the way, that's the exact number we were at last year, and then cart barn 34. And then looking at our event schedule, what we have coming up, we did not have the Friends of Sunrise 2-man scramble. We did host boys sectional today, which went over great. And then on 6/29, we do have the Wooten Cup or Regatta Cup that's coming up. It's looking to be a very big event.
Now, is that on 6/19 or 6/29?
6/19. So this has been an interesting time right now for the golf course. May went over well. That was being Mr. Bridgeford's final month. And then right now where we're at, just kind of this transition period with Mr. Gallatin not starting until the 20th. This has given us a little time to put some plans together for what we want to do in terms of doing some renovations with the clubhouse. Just want to do some quick hitting things such as with the carpet, the paint, little things just to kind of freshen it, brighten it up, make it a little bit more inviting for all. And then kind of shifting where we're doing all our merchandising into the pro shop area, and then opening up that concession area to be more of an event type space that we can have a little bit more people in there, a little bit better spacing as well. Kind of mentioned too that we've got our beer cart. We've only unveiled it a couple of times. We look to bring that out going forward majority of our weekends, and then especially for any events, scrambles that we've got going on. But now that we have control of the clubhouse, we are eligible to do sell alcohol in our clubhouse too. So we've got that stocked as well. And then something else that was mentioned by Joe Bronquella is that our GPSs have been installed. We've got them in each and every one of our carts, and so far, a few of the regular guys who play each and every day, they checked out with a cart. They wanted to try it out, and they said it was actually, they were surprised at how accurate it was. It was, I think the worst they ever saw it was maybe 4 yards off, and that only came with when you're on the green. There's different pin locations that they change throughout the day, or throughout the week. And we were able to delegate 4 different quadrants as to where it's going to be. I think the furthest they had it away is about 4 yards. So it's very, very accurate. Everybody's been pretty optimistic about that. It's gone very well. And then with that kind of backing up a step, other things that we can do with it, not only does it show you your whole yardage, show you exactly where you're at, we can also do advertisements on there. We can show our concession menu. We can delegate if it's going to be cart path only, to where it makes an annoying buzzing sound if you go off the cart path. If there's a lightning delay or something like that, we're able to flash that information on there. And then whoever is up at the pro shop, Roger for example, he can sit there and see if he's got 22 carts out there, he can see exactly where they're at. Now we do allow obviously private carts, so that's not going to show all the carts, but still, that's something nice that we haven't previously had.
It'll show the pace of play for those that are renting our carts, right?
Yeah, it will. So that we'll be able to kind of monitor that and get a feel for it. Because Sunrise is a course that we typically, it's a little bit faster playing course, I think, than the majority around the area, but that's something that it'll be very interesting once we kind of get to break down that data. What we've got going on staffing-wise, Johanna Johnson, who's been monitoring the Brown Gym for us on Tuesday, Thursdays, she is now working up at the pro shop Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and she's doing a fantastic job. Same thing, just being very personable with all our customers. It's just kind of taking it head on. It's doing a great job. And then myself and then my team, we've been staffing on the weekends. I worked this past weekend, and then we're going to kind of continue that trend for the next couple of weeks until Roger gets started. But we've got it fully staffed, and our 2 Whitaker boys are doing an excellent job with our carts too. So we're happy to have them stick on. And then again, it's no secret, Mr. Gallatin is going to be starting here soon. This is a guy that he brings a lot of expertise to this this venue with his different areas of that he's done between sales, between his marketing, his advertising, his knowledge of the game, whether that be someone who just started or someone who's a scratch golfer. I think he's going to do excellent things. He's got a real positive energy. I think it's really going to drive this golf course. So I'm looking forward to getting him started and working together with him. Moving ahead to Crystal Beach. So we have opened our season. We're running from May 29th all the way through Sunday, August 1st. Now it's been pretty cold for Memorial Day weekend, so we were very limited on who we had there. But here this past weekend, we had over 300 kids, or 300 people on each Saturday and Sunday, and they're doing an excellent job with that. All our lifeguards have been doing fantastic. We haven't had any issues in terms of safety issues. All the managers are doing a fantastic job with that as well. But we had a little bit of a snag coming into the season. About 2 days before we opened, one of our portals with the pool came loose. It was broken on the inside. We had no idea because on the outside it looked completely fine. Water was getting up underneath the liner, and Keith Leatherman had to get a little creative of how to fix that in about 48 hours, and he did an excellent job. He always seems to deliver for us. So he's our pool extraordinaire, and he showed it once again this year. So we are very happy to have him on our team. Where we're at on our numbers for Crystal Beach, we've got 6 senior passes so far, 61 for our water aerobics, and swim lessons, we're right at 100. And then we are still doing our punch card. So if you buy 6 visits, or 5 visits, sorry, you get your 6th one free. So we're doing that for everybody that comes to our pool.
Can you repeat what that cost is, excuse me, for the punch card?
You do 5 visits, you get your 6th one free, and it's $5 per visit. With Rucker, other than Mike doing a great job and some of the stuff that we've been doing in Field 1, we have applied through the Land and Water Conservation for a substantial grant. This is a $500,000 match This is going to be, it's just a complete renovation for something that hasn't been touched in quite a while. I think it's been about 20 years since we've done anything major over to that area, but that's still it's something I'm going to be preaching about, but that's a underutilized asset that we have, and that's going to be a big priority for myself and for the gentleman sitting on my left to start to attack. But we'll keep you posted as we learn more information on that, of when the timing is going to be for them to announce the winners, but really looking forward to hearing back on that one. Some small little playground parks updates. Lorenz Park, we did have a sign that ended up missing, but that has been replaced thanks to Tony Sorrells in the street department. Hargan Matthews, we've had a couple different things there. We've completed the mulching with the landscape. We've got 2 new swings on the empty bay closest to the road. Those have been vacant for quite a while. That was a deemed unsafe handicap swing that we originally had there. And then we got our tables back that were down there. It was just the flat metal tables. They got very, very hot, especially when they're in the sun. So we got those rhino line, the black liner, to kind of help absorb some of that heat, so it's not quite so dangerous for people to sit on. And we've also got a few divots that are taking place there, especially around our merry-go-round. It sees a lot of traction with that turf. So we've got the epoxy that we're able to fix that, and Trev Snyder is basically taking care of all that, and as well as we're going to include a new gate, so that it's a little bit safer if a kid were to run after a ball or something like that, to try to help protect them with that intersection right there. I'm going to briefly stop there, ask if there's any questions or comments.
August 1st, closing the pool, that is due to construction to get started,
Yes,
correct?
so we are closing firm. We're not going to do an extended season this year,
And the
so that
public-
we can,
Yeah.
we need that drain the next day and to start work on
So
it.
we're ready Memorial Day
Correct.
2022, correct?
We are
Okay.
fully anticipating opening on Memorial Day in 2022.
It's
With
just
no
good
set
that
that,
the
so
public understands that that is the reason.
that is absolutely the reason. We've got to get started on the work there. There is lots to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. The last thing that I have, I want to introduce our new program coordinator, Mr. Chad Eisen. And I just want to say he started this past week. He's been working here for a week now, and he's been absolutely fantastic. He has been showing a lot of initiative, jumps on anything that we ask him to do, and if he doesn't have his hands doing something, he's what can I help with? He's doing a great job interacting with the public, and I'm really, really excited to get him fully going with all these programs, because this is a very busy time, especially kind of what I said with you. We've got baseball just getting ready to start, and the second that ends, you've got football going, you've got volleyball going, and it just kind of steamrolls from right here. So I'm really looking forward to him getting his feet settled, but he's been fantastic. And I'm bring him up here so he can introduce himself.
Matt, can I ask one question before?
Yes, sir.
No, Chad, you can go on up. You may not have these with you, but
Okay.
and you can give them to us if you need. Can you let us know how many teams we have in each of our, because we like have coach pitch and
Mhm.
kid pitch and then, or machine and then those, can you, if you don't have those, can you get those to us?
I do.
Boys and girls?
I know off the top of my head. For
Okay.
boys, rookie,
Yeah,
7 and 8 girls, we have 3.
okay,
Boys minor,
Yep.
9 and 10, we've got 4.
okay,
Boys major, 11 and 12, we have 2.
okay.
And then girls are minor, we've got, it's technically 2, but we're gonna combine them to one team.
Okay.
Basically, we're at 18 girls, and it's
Okay.
gonna be too tight to do just 2 teams of that, so we're gonna use one there. We've got a plan for that, and then for girls major, we have 2 teams as well. And just kind of off of that, we didn't have any major league last year. And then minor, we had 3 teams, so this is a little up from that. The only difference is we did have upper league, girls softball upper league last year, which we don't this year, so that's our only difference. Okay. Chad, it's all yours.
Thank you. You 3 know me pretty well, so I'll keep this as brief as possible, but Chad Eisen, got my degree from Ball State in sports administration, so all the work that I'll be taking on here is what I've been preparing for, what I've been training for. I'm really excited to get started working with the parks. If there's anything that you guys need from me, please don't hesitate, let me know, and I'll be willing to work with you all on everything. You guys have any questions for me off the bat? Okay, well,
Glad to see you.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
thank you. Glad to be here.
Matt, just curious, what, and talking about a bond for record and all of that, where are we, I know we're still a ways out, but what's our, I guess, what would a target be for you guys?
In terms of timing,
Yeah,
I mean, with construction work and everything, you're still a couple years out.
okay, but that, I mean,
But to get something approved, ideally, I think 12 months would be a good
Okay.
timeline to have.
because I know the bond, that's a process to get all that set up and,
Yeah, I think Matt's right, that, what we wanted to do first was finish the master plan.
okay, all right.
And that's a 5-year master plan, and the board and the public will be involved in establishing the priorities from the master plan. And we did hire a design consultant to do design work on 5 of the parks. And that's also factored into not only the master plan, but the capital improvement plan. So we really need to come up with a comprehensive list of how we would prioritize reinvestment in the parks, and then go through a pretty methodical process of getting the bonding approved for that. So this is something that's gonna take the rest of the year to do.
Right.
And if we can come out of the gate sometime sometime in the first quarter of 2022, have the money available, we can really embark on many of the big capital improvement things. However, I will put one caveat in there, and that is, we may have money elsewhere where we could say, well, let's do this park right now, and let's just say it's a $500,000 investment. Let's find that money either through what we save in our levy, our tax levy, or with redevelopment, for example. Just find the resources there to do something sooner if we pick something project. But also want to mention too that these guys have been working their tails off, I mean, in parks, and we've set the bar really high, and it's been hard. We've been understaffed for the better part of a year, and we're now finally getting there with regards to being fully staffed from a command structure, programs, facilities management. It's taken a lot of work to get to the point where we are now, and you know, I know that we need to deliver on everything, and we spent a lot of time last year just trying to figure out, frankly, how do we even bring our park system back in a year of COVID underneath the cloud of all of the COVID restrictions from the State Department of Health or our local health department. So that's behind us, but now we're playing a little bit of catch up, and we finally are fully staffed, and I'm optimistic over the course of the balance of this year, we're really going to see the progress that we've been planning on for the past year. So we just ask for everybody's patience, and we're doing the best that we can and working really hard.
All right, final item on the agenda is, meeting dates and changes. So we are no longer going to be meeting on Wednesdays at the end of the month, but we're going to try to meet earlier at the beginning of the month. So our proposed plan is to do the first Monday of every month at 6:30. However, there are a couple of months where we have some holidays, so we have to move those dates. So the first meeting that will need to be moved will be next month's meeting, July the 5th, because that is national holiday. So do we want to move it to Wednesday the 7th of that week because you want it earlier in the month? Or is the 12th, which is the following Monday, is that too late in the month to have the meeting?
It's up to you. I mean, the important thing is when we get back to a regular cycle, so working around the holidays isn't an issue. It's really up to the board's convenience.
I'm available either day.
Okay, it doesn't make any difference to me, as far as claims are paid, does it matter if it's on the 5th, on the 7th, or the 12th?
I can look at my calendar to see if there's another meeting scheduled.
That's what I think, that's the,
That's what I was just asking him.
So,
I meant to grab Tammy's plan.
would be the second Monday or
There's
first.
a Board of Zoning Appeals and Plan Commission on the 12th.
Okay.
That is 5:30, and then the Plan Commission at 5:30, BZ meeting right after that. The 7th is open. July 7th is, I'm not showing any additional meetings on the evening of the 7th. Or if you wanted to go to the 19th, the 19th would be available.
Well, wouldn't you rather have it earlier in the month than the 19th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Idea.
So, how is Wednesday, July the 7th? You're okay, are you okay, Joe?
Mhm.
Okay. You want to keep it at the same time at 6:30? Okay, so the July meeting will be Wednesday, July the 7th at 6:30. And then let's go to September, again, because of the holiday. Do we want to, have it on the 13th, or do you want us to do it on the 8th
Which month is this?
of September?
September.
Your board meeting's probably set on that Monday, right? Second Monday?
September.
September the 13th.
Okay, so the 13th would have the same
That's
issue.
the-
as the 8th.
so that is the second.
Yeah.
What about September 8th?
Eight.
So you do that, just,
I'm 100% open on the 8th.
and that is an achievement in September.
September 8th would be good.
Okay.
Would be fine.
All right, so the September meeting will be Wednesday, September the 8th at 6:30.
And the other dates are good for you all, that
Yeah.
I just kind of picked the first Monday.
Yes, as long as, yeah,
Okay.
if it didn't have a conflict with anything at.
Tammy didn't in her book,
Okay.
so.
All right. All right, so, with the exception of the 2 holiday weekends, our meetings will now be on the first Monday of the month at 6:30. Okay. Is there any other,
Claims, okay.
yeah, claims is the last one,
I
claims?
combined it, the claims with the minutes at the beginning.
Okay, all right. Very good. Then, that's right, okay, perfect. Anything else for the good of the order? Any other questions, discussion?
Just a big thank you to the Parks Board. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you for all your support.
Thank you. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Sorry, I beat you to it.
Do I have a second?
You want me to Coke?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
So who motioned?
thank you. Next meeting.
Who motioned to adjourn, Tim?
Yeah.
This was too quick for me. The second was Jeff.
I'll share next time.
I have a package
And gas
for
goes
you
up there
guys to
plenty
sign.
This is the sign that's all paperwork?
Yeah, like the minutes you'll sign for me.
Any questions on anything, Mark?
I had one. Kim asked it.
Resolution,
How soon?
and then the one for the
Be in
claims.
place by the time Roger
It's
gets
kind
here.
of confusing now that there's packets, so I thought I'd keep it separate.
He answered.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? That'll be,
Do I sign this?
it's the last structural thing that we have to do.
On the back.
Yeah,
I'll sign
we
it.
do,
It said, yes,
It's the last structural.
Oh, yeah, I
give an
did.
extra financial report for.
Chad?
Yes.
That
I
might be.
didn't get that one.
Okay, I think it's good.
Might need it.
Roger's a good fit.
Now, will you sit in on those meetings as well?
It's a good one.
I will probably on the organizational ones, and then eventually I will need to, because, what I don't want to do is
Oh, yeah.
get in anybody's way.
So, the corporation is in.
I have to have it again.
On the second.
Skip it.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna see if I have a requirement to be there in office.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
What do you think the first thing you'll,
Well, if you.
I mean, are you gonna give them a task?
Yeah, it's gonna be about policy
That
procedures,
should be fine.
essentially.
Is it in town, you go someplace this year?
Daily
It's out
play,
It's in, Eden.
and then the next part will be driving revenues, of course, through
You going to the
corporate
hotel?
memberships and.
They're doing
our
the
online
conference
portal,
center at the
also
hotel.
present.
And then,
Gambling?
I'm not, but some of them.
on the corporate membership board?
They would pay as a fixed fee, and they would get advertisement on the keywords.
This is mine to keep?
And a certain number of, this is an annual corporate fee,
All right.
certain number of rounds of golf.
print it and print it,
I
reprint.
can't, it's the clerk's office,
already
they're all
have.
fine with it, they don't care. They don't care, they didn't even look for this.
Sell it all the way to the corporate alley.
She'll say the sign, it's all matters.
So these
The
are.
back page is all counts,
It's
so
our
signature.
revenue
Yeah, right.
reports, and we deliver a good.
Let the clerk office.
Enjoy working with
There every year going to.
Yeah.
Big sounds.
Remember we had two.
The first time when he called me one day, I went,
Yeah, we are, all of our we got black people.
As Roger said, do you think?
Black processes, and then
our initial meeting, he.
And we did not focus on marketing at all, at all.
He can get
That's
some
one
of
of
the
the
current
crap.
jobs.
Yeah,
He
it's,
doesn't-
it's my understanding that he doesn't
Oh, yeah.
find somebody
Make sure
to
you
use
got
it.
everything in
So
there.
we got that ratio.
Well, that's all we-
I was gonna say that
Yeah,
he's
we
doing
got myself, revenue that generates.
That's gonna be all the working up there, so.
And that's it.
That's how it's Nick, it kind of worked out that you do the weekends, because a lot of the members stay there any longer on the weekends,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, so Saturday, they were leaving me about.
Was it hard on present too?
Yeah.
Probably
No,
not.
no, no.
But
That's
you
Sunday.
So.
Yeah, he's been
It was 7 to
Okay,
6,
that's fine.
6:30 is when
I
I ran in there, so.
Have a corporate
Yeah,
alley.
I would
Yeah.
like to
Like
be
3
there.
hours.
If you have a corporate alley and it blocks out
Not
a
bad.
day.
Well, we've already.
And of course,
we've
and
already
a good
got
salary
probably
for
a
it,
dozen
that-
now.
That's one thing, doesn't matter if it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
What a lot of
Yeah.
courses do, they don't
True
do.
love.
There's pros and cons to it.
Yeah, there is.
We say it's like
Yeah.
And so,
You did.
what we've done in the past,
And I
honestly,
like how I used to
is,
do the weekend.
is
Who
literally
runs
give away
the golf?
a lot of our revenue generating baseball entities because
NBA, Jimmy probably made
Okay. And that's what Roger's
I'm
going to
basically
do
just getting
to
into
contract with how to restructure these and market them more effectively,
Just
to drive that revenue up.
make sure.
We've already got the overhead side of the equation
Changing things.
nailed.
So,
Now we need to make sure our revenue to effectively do that. We're going to
So
be.
Yep.
potentially on August,
No doubt.
so might be gone.
This Concord is going to be comprised
My
of.
mother, I'm sorry,
active
someone said it was
golfers. So they'll be the eyes,
Has she been?
yeah, they'll be the eyes and the ears up there, right? What we should do, what should we fix, how can we improve things, speed up play? Who can we go call, for example, to try to attract a corporate sponsor? They're gonna be a little bit of everything, really be that resource for Roger.
Were you doing that board like a member at a time, or were you
Track
do
the
it
house.
all?
Do it all at once. Yeah.
And they actually
Does that
just got
have to go
vaccinated.
before city council or anybody?
We just, this parks board has
Yeah.
jurisdiction over all the park
Yeah,
assets.
I mean,
So
see,
they
they're
just
also got to
statutorily
help
delegated.
them sort through everything, do
I
arrangements.
didn't
It's just
think you
those two.
did, but you'll probably.
And, now
put
he's,
it-
now he's not alone, so I left Saturday.
In that- in that-
wedding
yeah,
Just
in
like
that-
you do all the others.
So-
Yeah, in that resolution, the statutes in there that gives them the authority to delegate supervision to me. And we're already doing the day-to-day, so we've got so many other things we gotta worry about our parks.
Rubbing off on him.
Let's take the hardest part off the table for them and let us focus on it like we've been doing.
Yeah, it's hard enough to do.
Yeah, it is.
Park them back on.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're
it's
concerned.
hard.
I'd add that.
When you get to the master plan and all.
I know.
I'm not saying that they would anyway.
Well, they now, but
That's out of
now,
the way, let's
now
not
they,
do
now
it.
they can concentrate on that, right? And they can actually
And that was
deliver
almost worse, because
on the
then,
master plan.
you
So
know,
if you look at the last master plan,
no anonymity now. I mean,
there wasn't any
everything is, you know, we
meaningful
entertain her
follow-up
every
to
night,
the master plan.
and now,
Because
you know,
they're,
and,
they're pulled
so
and twisted in
we've
so
gotta-
many different
we've gotta kind
directions.
of
It's
pull
been
back a little
impossible
bit,
for the parks
because
board to
otherwise
focus
she's gonna be dependent on us for
on
everything
our park
all
system,
the
which
time.
is
And my
really
brothers do,
comprehensive.
my brothers.
That's why all this is
help
going
at all,
further up.
you
Well,
know,
we
they
should
don't,
once they
they
get
don't live
down the
here,
track on the
which I
master
can
plan.
understand, but, you know, they
We'll
just
talk
don't,
about here when
I
they're
mean,
gonna meet this month,
Do they
next
come see
month.
you?
no.
We'll just have some work sessions.
You know, they're both.
Well, and then the public, that's why Nicole,
Think
who's
of
our
FaceTime,
city
that's how
planner,
we saw.
is working on the
Yeah.
master plan, find a third party design.
Like my schedule is tough, it's 2.5 hours.
Bring it in,
Thing
basically
we
say,
go.
these are our recommendations,
You're losing almost
she's
6
already
hours
done
each time
a
you go.
survey,
Those are
putting
my
all
kids'
that into the
sports.
plan.
And
And
then-
we've already.
So these are the only days during
we're
like now,
working on
it's my mowing
five
day.
of our parks.
and
We have
lawn
27,
day,
so let's work on 5 big ones
Yeah.
and get
Well,
that.
Brian's telling him.
All right.
Yeah, and I
All right,
heard,
I'll see
I
you.
actually
Thank you.
heard something about that today.
Think probably tomorrow night.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's gonna be a big
We
meeting
had a
tomorrow
meeting,
night.
the person that told me
Yes.
something that,
We have the John Minkey Award.
Well, yeah.
We
I
have
know
2 officers
that,
we're swearing in. We have 3 citizen recognition we're giving.
Really?
We have a couple of ordinances on second and third reading.
But then I haven't heard anything since.
Mhm.
No,
Okay.
I wanna make sure the AC is
I
turned
can't remember
down,
if that was fall this
Yeah.
year.
so it don't get too hot.
Yeah, I might,
Right.
might need it for the next BZA meeting too.
Yep.